Hello, everyone. I'd like to first of all thank Eurasia Conference and the organizers for having welcomed me and invited me to be the keynote speaker for today. My topic today is on the importance of inclusive leadership. So, what is inclusivity, first of all? Inclusivity is when we are very conscious of making others feel most welcome, and we are very open in terms of understanding the diverse backgrounds they come from. Now, this is just a very simple meaning of inclusivity. We now move on to inclusive leadership. So, what is inclusive leadership? Inclusive leaders lead with an openness to diverse perspectives, and they also make sure that benefits are distributed equitably, providing also diversity and inclusive training as well in amongst the team that they are leading. So, what is the problem when you do not have an inclusive leadership in an organization? It damages the workplace culture, number one. Number two, it also weakens customer relationships. Now, when we talk about a corporate background or an organization with regard to inclusive leadership, I'd like to mention that when we consider respect for diversity, we need to also look at our personal background as well. To what extent are we open to people who are very different from us? This makes me think of a time many years ago when I had just started my career as a trainer. I was just thinking that when you are facing an audience, you have people from so many different backgrounds who are dressed very, very differently as well as compared to you sometimes. But how open is something which is very important and also impacts the training program. I also remember the time when I would hesitate to speak or interact and get to know people who are very, very different from me in terms of their attire, not from their other diverse individual differences, no, but in terms of their attire. I would always wonder, will I have something to tell them? Will they be also having something to tell me? Would we have anything to connect? Which was wrong, I realized many years later. Because no matter what, it is important that we keep an open mind when it comes to people and their differences, and of course, the backgrounds that they come from. So, coming back to inclusive leadership, how can we actually differentiate an inclusive leader from someone who is not? An inclusive leader pays attention and listens to employees, and they also believe in very, very carefully looking at their current recruitment policies and strategies. They also reevaluate company policies periodically. And most of all, they create a very, very safe place for their team to thrive and feel happy and satisfied with the organization. There is also something which sets them apart. They use inclusive language. They also believe in boosting engagement and creating a sense of belonging, which is so important because people can be from various backgrounds. But how much of time do we spend in making sure that we know them, we understand them, we understand their backgrounds so that they can feel welcome where they are working? And they are also conscious of enabling inclusivity to enhance innovation. Now, innovation, as we all know, is a situation or something which requires a lot of risk. When you have inclusivity in an organization, or when you have an inclusive leader, the leader is more likely to be welcoming risk takers. Hence, they definitely promote innovation in the organization. Now, what happens when inclusivity is not welcome? It damages seriously workplace culture. People will start feeling very hesitant to be themselves. They will also start thinking that perhaps I do not fit here because my voice is not heard. I'm not understood. So it can damage workplace culture. It weakens customer relationships as well. And when you look at people who are part of an inclusive organization, you will also notice that they are more willing to overcome bias. They also are very conscious of the certain communication barriers which can result from being part of a non inclusive environment. At the same time, they believe in representation as well. They are more likely, they are more likely to be open when it comes to having people from different backgrounds be represented in the organization. And there is also greater pains taken when it comes to integration of people from different backgrounds. So, how can we create an inclusive environment or an organization? The first one would be to educate and train. Now, this is extremely crucial because, as we all know, when you are going to an organization or when you're even perhaps going to a grocery store, what you are able to receive in terms of customer care or service is a reflection of the training that the person receives at the counter. So, hence, educating and training is very crucial when it comes to creating an inclusive organizational environment. The second one is to start having open dialogues. You might have people who are very, very different, like I said, from you. Start enabling people to voice their opinions, to speak about what is on their mind, which could be very different to what you may think about. The third one is to have flexible policies. The more rigid policies are, the more problems they create in having an inclusive, healthy workplace environment. Celebrate diversity. We can celebrate diversity by making sure that a lot of not just festivals are celebrated, but even important days for diverse groups are recognized with respect. The next one would be to set up feedback and feedback that is safe, that does not tend to have any repercussions on people who are taking the pains to be sincere about their feedback. And of course, it's also very important that the organization creates an environment for people, including people with disabilities, to be able to work well and thrive well in that environment. So, all in all, what I'd like to mention here is please do consider the importance of inclusivity, not just from an organizational point of view. It is about respecting others, it is about being compassionate to others, and most of all, it's about being kind. So, when you respect inclusivity, what we need to remember is we are only conveying to the world that we are human. Thank you very much. I would now like to thank once again the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all today. Thank you. Wishing you all a wonderful day ahead and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.